Hello, internet friends. I'm back. Um, and this time I brought a journal because I've been taking so much from these tarot sessions. I was like, I'm gonna write down anything that I feel like really relates for me. Maybe you can do the same. But yeah, last time I was like really getting into a flow. I feel like I was just letting things like surface that normally I would like massage a bit more before I share, but something about being in my creative space and then having the music and then like having no one around, it's almost like making new music, if that makes sense. And I really like it. So let's get into it today. I am I am going to do a tarot reading about money. And my personal style, in case you couldn't tell by now, is never to really manifest any fear or say anything negative that could create that. So I'm never really prophesizing for myself that something bad could happen, only that maybe we're already experiencing something, or if we run into that, there are other things we could do. But I am never like, you will go bankrupt or your mom will die. I feel like rarely. Sometimes I do have some guesses of how that translates into somebody's life, but yeah, when it comes to financial readings, it gets really interesting because things are a lot more emotional. I perceive things to be a lot more emotional than one might expect money readings to go. And I say that only because the amount of money someone has or the proficiency they have with which they make money doesn't always translate to an emotionally secure relationship with it. Um, I know for myself, I definitely have things that I want to work on in that department, but um, I'm excited to do that and just watch it bleed into every other area of my life. Without further ado, let's begin. Oh, I forgot to tell you about the thumbnail card. It was King of Pentacles, which when I pull this card, I hear a cha-ching. So that's funny. Um, Granted, though, I wasn't completely certain that I was going to do a reading about money before I pulled it. And then after, I was like, wait, that fits for me. I don't know why I'm looking at the book. I already remember him. Me and Anne get him a lot. So, King of Pentacles, in my book, spiritual wealth, material wealth, justice, and discipline. Woo! Material wealth, spiritual wealth, justice, and discipline. I love this card because this card reminds me of healing my money wounds. Sometimes there tends to be a fear that money will change us in a negative way, or that it does change us in a negative way when we get anxiety or we have a stress relationship with it or we don't have enough. But the King of Pentacles energy is kind of like a reminder to me that money is so much more than just wealth. It is wealth, but different kinds. The material, the spiritual, the full picture, the full abundance. Discipline goes together with that energy, but justice sometimes is a bit like of a new concept for me. And after pulling this deck for almost 3 years now, I've come upon a definition of justice that's very financially related to me, because it's giving oneself what one deserves is justice. So if the universe owes you a lot of money and you're indebted and you've got some money wounds that you need to heal, justice is possible. You will learn to get yourself what you deserve if you keep working on yourself the way that you do. Right? King of Pentacles. That one. There's a car with a blowhorn outside. Seven of Cups. I feel like everybody I know, and if I tap into a collective consciousness, I'm picking up on a paradigm of wealth really changing and entering our reality. The dead monk. I have some thoughts. But yeah, no, it feels like, and by the way, when I'm like thinking like this and looking over there, I usually am tapping into what I feel. So sometimes I won't take it in a literal way, and I won't always think it applies to me or people around me. But then I find my way to like weave my own personal stories and reality into it. Yeah, and when I think about the paradigm of wealth that's coming, I think about how I had these outlandish dreams that weren't unheard of when I first moved to Vietnam, but like definitely nobody around me was like talking about that kind of stuff, which was using social media to build a personal brand or a business and really scale it quickly, and build a lot of wealth. But back then, it felt like something that I don't know, I couldn't really read. And now it feels like everybody in my life, both people who were with me in that chapter and new friends and new people now, are using this as a way towards the wealth that they want to have. But that doesn't mean that I think everybody has to do it. I just think that there's a new, more authentic, more feminine, maybe more something like good for your well-being is possible now. It's possible to build wealth that way. I feel like when things were kind of swinging, or things are still patriarchal swinging, I would say, a lot of these realities were not as possible. That's what I see. Okay. Two of Wands. But yeah, so that is something really cool. And I feel like, oh wow. I feel like it's something long awaiting. Every type of person, every energy on different parts of the spectrum is long awaiting this balance of feminine and masculine energies, a rebalancing of everything, I think. And so I feel like anyone can take advantage of this new paradigm. But yeah. Regarding your wallet, what is the most authentic way to be yourself? What is the key to being yourself when you're making money? I have to remember to watch the chat this time, because last time somebody came and asked a question, it got me so excited, but she had left before I even saw. So okay. If that happens, you should come back because I'll answer it. But anyways, what is the key to being your most authentic self? Seven of Cups. So I'm going to give you a second So give it a look and tell me what you see, or tell yourself right now. That's funny that we were just talking about like the universe bringing balance back with this new paradigm of wealth coming in, and also respect for the feminine. It's this card. What is the key to being yourself? The middle way, balance, opportunity, hope, choice. Ooh, balance, opportunity, hope, choice. What's coming through for me is that you might not feel like you fit into the mainstream paradigm of success and money. You might feel like, for whatever reason, maybe it's stuff that happened in your past or natural qualities about your soul that you could learn to love, but you feel like you pulled the short straw when it comes to the green thumb. Wait, is the green thumb about money, or is it about? I think it is. Yeah, everything you touch turns gold. But this card, the middle way, is giving you a new opportunity to see your positioning as an advantage. Okay. Ooh. Balance, opportunity, hope, choice. You can't lose hope that you will get everything you want in this life. That's like my number one like thing. And I think I got that North Star from being someone that just had so much hope and love and joy to give. But before I understood the power of that, I would lose it a lot or give it away a lot or lose hope, you know? And hopelessness is such a strong emotion. I feel that it can really wipe out other things. But no matter what cards you're dealt or what you go through or what mistakes you made in your past, there's always hope. There's always an opportunity you can always make the choice. Every day is a new chance to make the choice to start stepping in the right direction. And I understand that very deeply when it comes to money. I think that everyone has experienced a feeling of snowballing before, whether it was financially related or not, but snowballing in the sense where you feel a little out of control and one thing leads to the next and it gets worse and worse and worse. And when that is financial, it can be very like anxiety inducing and self-deprecating, if that makes sense. You might develop a lot of beliefs about yourself, that you're not good with money, that you feel anxious with it. But I want you to make a choice with me that we are always going to work on finding a belief that feels a little bit better around that. We're never going to lose hope. Okay, we might have a low moment, but let's not let that make us believe that there's no chance for us to achieve everything we want to achieve in life. Also, that path is going to require balance no matter who you are. So at some point, people who you might view as having it easy or having a light relationship with money, or people who you think got lucky with traits or a life that doesn't struggle with it, they too need balance. So wherever you are, you can find that balance. Whoever you are. What means, allies, resources are here to help you on the way to your goal? This is when I was like, oh, This one I was like, oh, the Ten of Swords, the Dead Monk. This card, look at him for a second. This card comes up when if there are any instances where I'll hope a card doesn't come up, like it's this one and he comes up. It's painful ending, betrayal, loss, serious injury. Let me make sure I got all of them. Ten of Swords. Painful ending, serious injuries, betrayal, loss, major crisis. Is anyone else having a major crisis, a major financial crisis? Is it in the mind or is it real? If it's real, are there things we can do in the mind to bring us peace so we can best handle that situation? The Dead Monk. Well, or if you are going through a hard time already around money, you know you have an emotional relationship that could be better. I give a tip to people during tarot about money so that they can understand their own emotional relationship with it. And it's basically to visualize money as a friend and ask yourself, what kind of relationship do you have with money? You know, like, how do you feel when you hit her up? How do you feel when she hits you up? You know, are you guys close right now? Do you talk a lot? Do you ignore her messages? Do you fight? Does it remind you of one of your parents? Yes. So if any of this has given you like some insights onto a relationship that you have with money that you do not want, if you've been struggling a lot with that, if you've struggled a lot with it in life, maybe the Dead Monk is some energy that we do want. We don't always want, I mean, I feel like we never want a painful ending, but sometimes we have pain in our lives already, patterns that bring us pain. I know I do. And maybe there's no way to tie up that loose end without having a painful ending to this pain. So I give you an example. I talked about it in all my tarot readings, but I had a hard week, maybe like 1 or 2 weeks ago. And it, like, my mental health felt very low. It was definitely related to all areas of my life, even though I am living my dream and it's doing really well. So this, I mean, I knew I would process it later, but it gave me an indication that there were some beliefs tucked in there that were preventing me from having the emotional relationship with these areas of my life that I wanted to have. When it comes to money, I think there were some beliefs that were causing me some pain that I am ready to let go of. Some of those beliefs are, I have to make it in a certain amount of time. There's a timeline at all. There's a timer, a deadline to when I can make it financially in my life. And if I don't make that, something really bad will happen. But the truth is, for me, and for you too, so I hope this helps, that belief is causing me a lot of pain. I'm ready for it to come to a close. I'm ready for that to be the last crisis I create for myself with money. If I had to replace that belief, I would replace it with, I have a unique, adventurous, exciting timeline. Like a movie, just like everybody else. We all have our own unique personal timeline of when we make it, when we find love, when we heal, when we grieve. And it is cyclical. And I can forgive myself for the ways I've betrayed myself my whole life when it comes to money. That's what I'm getting from this. Oh, hello. One person, if you want to toss a question in the chat. Right now, I'm giving a general reading about money. But let me know if you want to toss a question. I'll pull a random one for you. Okay. What action will prove helpful on the way to my goal? Ace of Swords. Oh. Ace of Swords. Ooh. Fearless. Clarity of mind. Steps forward. Breakthrough. Actions will prove how. Okay. Fearless. Clarity of mind. Steps forward. Breakthrough. That totally reads for me. Especially if you resonate with what I'm putting down with the emotions and energetics of money. Most of it is not physical, you know? So if we can channel this energy, this fearlessness, this clarity of mind, steps forward, breakthrough. Steps forward and breakthrough is inevitable if we can be clear with ourselves about what we want and who we are. Fearless. Action. That makes sense. My life coach once told me that there are two things that people have the hardest time changing their beliefs about. One is their emotional relationship to money. So even when they're doing well, do they feel good about it? Or do they motivate themselves in a positive way? Or do they carry on what they had in survival mode? And then the other one is being deserving of good things. I am good and I'm deserving of good things. So if you believe that, money should come effortlessly. But those two are the most difficult for people to change if they don't already believe that. Hello, one person. Toss a question in the chat if you want the cards. I'm doing one about the emotions of money, but you can toss anything in there. But shit, that reads for me, because if I can describe to you what my mind is like, I have ADHD and I'm an empath. But I feel like even when I make art or when I lead a discussion or something, I think the clarity is like everything's equally blurry and then it starts to like clear up all at once. So when I'm super triggered or I have like emotions that are difficult to handle, the clarity is not there. And I might be like speaking on it before it's clear. But then I can feel when it's starting to clear up. And sometimes I can create that feeling before it does. Ooh. Can you explain what emotions around money means? I'm lost. I just found this channel from a channel called Shoo. That's so cute. She sends me so many people. It's so sweet. And I enjoyed your How I Left California video. Oh my gosh. Okay. Wait, follow? Because I am in the middle of producing a bunch of videos that will like tell the rest of my story more. But I'm so much slower to edit than Shu is. That boy cracks out like 2 or 3 videos a day. But okay. The emotions around money. Okay, yeah. Well, I told, like I was saying before, I'm a super emotional person. And when I was younger, I was always fighting against that. And I always felt like, oh, if that one thing was different about me, I would be more successful. I would be like good at business. I'd be, I don't know, just stable. But now that I am more stable and I've grown into myself more and accept myself more, it's actually not true. I am still just as emotional as when I was young. Uh, and so now what I do instead is kind of lead with that. And I feel like that's given me a lot of gifts in terms of understanding people and understanding myself and manifesting my own things and me as an artist. So now my approach to money and working on it is not so much, for example, before it used to be a bit critical or how I was raised around money, but because I guide myself emotionally, I have to lead with the emotions I want. So for me personally, criticism kind of like hinders me and holds me back or like gives me negative feelings. I feel like I was overly criticized as a child. And so I had to work on a lot of channeling and just expressing myself more when I got older. And so now I see like with money, it's the same thing. Um, my first big push working on this was when I realized working with a life coach that I had a very like anxiety induced relationship with money. Like even when I was making a lot, I was like nervous about it. I was not sure if it was going to come, or whenever I checked it, I kind of like put it off. Sometimes I would put it off for months and not even know how much I had. Maybe like years, like it was that clouded. And then now I would say that money and I are good friends. Sometimes I ignore her a little longer than I want, but she knows me and I've set my boundaries, but I want it to be better. I want to be like, we're best friends. We have really good communication. Does this make sense? So you can think about like your own relationship with money if you imagine it as a person, like a friend that you have. Like, how is your friendship? Is it healthy? Is it where you want it to be? Do you talk often? Yeah, my life coach even helped me. Like, we came up with a name for it and like personified it a lot to like help improve this relationship. Another like interesting thing is I discovered that emotionally my relationship with money felt like my relationship with my dad, which like wasn't bad, but like there was some shame there that I thought was interesting. And when I shared that tip with my boyfriend, he was like, whoa, that's cool, because money reminds me of my kid. Like I'm always nagging it and telling it like, I get you. I think of money as a personable relationship. Ooh, that's nice. So you would say like pretty good friends? Huh. That's cool. It's funny because I've read tarot for a bit, but I've only officially given like a real tarot reading a few times, and I find that like most of the people that come to me for tarot, um, they have tended to be very confident with money and less confident with love, which I think is cool because like I don't know, I think it's cool. I see them as so connected, but then when I see patterns in others, yeah. Um, like for example, you would expect that someone who has a secure relationship with money can have a secure relationship with another person, but it doesn't translate always. But the next card. So I do a spread. It's a spiral spread, and each card in the spiral represents the answer to a specific question. And so the question for this card is what needs to change on the way to our goal? And I'm reading it about money emotionally. It's like general for everyone, but then sometimes I zoom into myself. But we got 2 of Wands for What needs to change on the way to our goal, our financial goal? Destiny of rebirth, discovery, planning, progress. Ooh. What needs to change on the way to our goal? Destiny of rebirth, discovery, planning, and progress. Okay. I'm getting so much for myself personally, but I'm also getting a lot like for the whole collective in the sense of at the beginning of this live, I was talking a lot about how I was excited about doing this reading because I feel that there's a shift going on in the world right now in every area again, but when it comes to money specifically, it's very exciting. I feel like it's bringing back some balance. Times feel kind of rough right now, but I also feel like there's these little pockets of hope in which, like, for example, things are kind of swinging towards like things have been in a masculine way of making money and manifesting reality for a long time, and I feel like now it's like swinging towards like a feminine way, and that's bringing like the rise of other new ways of building wealth that people have come up with, like really creative ways online, Airbnb, ways of building wealth. And I call it feminine because it seems a bit more authentic, less like grinding with no spiritual compass, and more like sharing the light that you have or receiving and providing value. And, you know, now stay-at-home moms can make 100K salaries from their home. And so I feel like in the collective sense, we're in this, what needs to change is us maybe ignoring this destiny of rebirth. Or, okay, when I see it in individual people, I see them ignoring often like the call towards a new vocation, or they have a calling and they want to answer it. A lot of times it's creative or something. And there's like a period of like, should I go or should I stay? And I think what needs to change on the way to our goal is accepting this discovery and accepting this like new direction or this destiny of rebirth, because we need to start planning for it, and so does the world, and we need to make some progress, because like, not that the old way or the masculine way is dead, but like I feel like it needs balance to encompass all that we're becoming. Because now, like, you know, a lot of even like masculine men I know who are really good at corporate are like expressing to me that they want something deeper and more connected, or they're not quite happy with everything, or they're unsure, is this all that there is? And I just think that's a sign. And I think it's a good sign, because I don't know about you, but I want to make money from my room. I want to. Shu has actually inspired me a lot with this stuff. Yeah, that's so cute. That wait, can you tell me what video you saw or something? I'm just curious. But the last card is, what is our goal when it comes to money? What is the karma to be burned? And I love that phrasing of the question because it makes it emotional for me. Like, what is the karma to be burned when we're like coming into our full destiny with like money and power? 8 of Wands. I didn't expect this. Interesting. Ceremony, displacement, action, alignment, change. Okay, I'm just gonna ride off the wave I was just on. I think that's about what I was talking about, how like this new paradigm of building wealth has entered the universe. But I think it's also kind of mirroring or reflecting a lot, like a big like spiritual awakening that we're all having too. Ceremony, displacement, action, alignment, change. So I feel like in the greater sense, if I imagine that, it makes me feel hopeful and comforted that balance change can be made. It was like she left the USA for Asia or something like that. I've been having thoughts of doing it after my master's, so I thought it was fate. More likely the YouTube algorithm, though. You know, before I was a spiritual girly at all, the YouTube algorithm brought me all this spiritual content. And back then, I also said the same thing, but like, it is fate too. I feel like same word, different thing. Oh, that's cool though. Wait, are you Vietnamese? Or were you thinking of just going abroad or Vietnam specifically? Because that would be like you should do it, honestly. I mean, if you watch Shu, he probably tells you a lot. It's great out here. Like, we love it. And if you come out, you should hit us up. I have this dope space. It's it's actually started as my boyfriend's martial arts studio. And then it became like his private gym that he just has like things with the boys sometimes. And then he let me put my art studio in here. So now I invite a lot of people. Traveled through Vietnam for 3 months and then to Cambodia and Laos. Oh, that's sick. Wow. I haven't even been to Cambodia and Laos. That sounds fun. I do really want to go to Angkor Wat and see those temples. What's your master's too? I'm just curious. Mm. Oh wow. London, that's so cool. Oh, sick. I'm gonna pull a card for you. Tom's dad's a what does that say? Tom's dad's a I'm gonna call you Tom's dad. I'm gonna pull a card for you. You and your English lit. That is sick. I haven't met someone who studied lit in so long. It's just Tom, and then I spammed my keyboard. That's funny. Okay, cards. What is one thing that I can tell Tom that can help him on his journey of finishing his English Lit Masters and then coming to Vietnam or wherever? Ooh, Page of Swords. Okay, before I tell you what this card says, what do you see when you look at him? Page of Swords. It's hard to hold this straight. Why is this hard? There's a dude. He's holding, what is that? A dog? He looks like one of the demon guys I saw on a door in Cambodia. True. Oh, that's a good point. This is a Buddhist tarot deck. It's called Siddhartha Tarot. I feel like in Cambodia, I don't know, it might be Hindu, but definitely similar imagery. Okay, so this card in my book, it's the Page of Swords. It says, wait, where am I? Keeper of spiritual treasures, curiosity, thirst for awareness, new ways of communication. I don't know if I gave you, let me know if you need to hear it again, but it sounds like someone at the beginning of their journey too. Keeper of spiritual treasures, curiosity, thirst for awareness, new ways of communication. Interesting. Why do you say that? Like, why did you study lit? And do you still feel like the reason applies? Yeah. I feel like having thoughts of coming out here and doing this and then watching YouTubers is giving curiosity and a thirst for awareness, and you reaching out to find little bits and pieces and clues of what you might want in your next chapter. I feel like that totally reads. You finding keepers of spiritual treasures to get little nuggets that inspire you on your journey. And I like new ways of communication. I love new ways of communication for a lit major. I worked at a German bank. Wow. Straight after getting kicked out of school. Oh, wow. I hated the people, so I did something far more emotionally expressive. Whoa. What do you mean by that? More emotionally expressive. And then also, I feel, damn. My best friend in high school got kicked out of school. It was actually really unfair. Hmm. Keeper, new ways of communication. Huh. What you just said is also giving me new ways of communication. Hating the people, so did something far more emotionally expressive. I love that. English, my opinion about your opinion. That's real. I could never. I actually I'm kind of got a job like that, but like I feel like anytime I did it lasted maybe a month or two. But I like that, like the way you put English lit that you that tarot, because I feel like tarot is that, except for imagery and feelings maybe. But I know a lot, like some tarot readers are like very wordy with it, if that makes sense. They play around with their words a lot more. Personal reading of a text and justifying it. Wait, I love that because it's also like anybody could develop that confidence. It's like the same with tarot. Cool. I'm just learning about the platform. Now that somebody's here, I have access to new features. Welcome. So do you often watch YouTube live stream? I feel like part of like the thing about doing it that's funny is I never watch it, so I don't know if this is normal. Whatever I'm doing. It's a lot about reading into things, not a million miles off for sure. Thanks for your reading of it. My dissertation party involved tarot cards. Interesting. Oh, really? Cool. Hmm. Oh, no wonder it's so hot. The AC is not on. It seems to be working fine. I don't know if you know, it got recommended whilst I was finishing your vlog. Oh, really? Yay! I'm happy that like it's getting recommended. A few people told me that. Wait, you should subscribe and see the next one because I have to go, but this is fun to have someone actually in it. Also, I'm more active on Instagram, so we should connect there. And then, like, if you ever come out, I'm serious about hitting us up. Wow, what is the date? Let's remember this. November 2nd, my first person in the live stream. In the future, there will be tons, just pew, like I show speed. But first, it was just you, Tom, with the word vomit. Tom, dot, dot, dot. I don't have Graham anymore. Okay, that's probably for the best. Don't worry about it. TikTok? No, TikTok's even worse, man. So addictive. Wait, you can't chat on YouTube, huh? No, I don't think so. Wait, that might be why it's easier for me to produce on YouTube because it's not as distracting. But then you can't connect with people as much. Aw, thank you for watching. Oh, appreciate it. Till next time.